Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS 82 apostrophe with another vid. Been a while, but this one is going to be thrown under something weird. Just a thought of that series, and I'll get into that in a second. But word of explanation: if you are just happen to be wondering where the heck I've been for the last month or so, I don't know. Home, enjoying Christmas, New Year's, helping to guide BodyBags till its end, which was like the week before Christmas week. And then Christmas week, we dropped a collaborative vid. I think it was our top 5 greatest films ever, personal choices kind of thing. And so that took a little bit out, and I don't know, you reach a point every once in a while where, you kind of think about just, I need a break. But either you do, or it just happens. And for me, it just happened. It's just one of those things, I think I got quite a ways into X-Files. I felt pretty good about that, and I do want to pick that back up again. The Walking Dead, I don't know if I should have started it quite then. But I did get through season 1, short season anyways, right into season 2. Can't tell you exactly where I left off right off the top of my head. I didn't even bother to look. But these things I think, want to pick back up. But it's been over a month, I think, since I've done anything like this. And so I thought, you know what? I've been thinking about my collection. I'm not very good at putting up hauls, the video hauls or whatever, what we do. And there's been some discussion of collecting recently. I watched a video. I don't usually watch these types of videos, but it was another one, under the title of Deal With It, Physical Media is Dead type video, right? I always laugh when I see that or hear that. Now, part of that may be because I was born in 1970. Physical media has always been part of my life, continues to be part of my life. In fact, good opportunity to just show you one thing I got for Christmas. I figure what I want to do is, in terms of my collection and maybe just starting to get back into the flow of doing videos again, I think what I want to do is just pull off sections of my collection, either via distribution company, just to highlight reasons of why collecting in physical media is so important, or franchises, collected franchises, ones that, happen to be proud of, that I have in my collection. And I'm very thankful and grateful that I do have those in my collection. And, maybe throw in, as I'm about to do, something, put something in the spotlight, whether I got it as a gift or just want to show it off. And then see if I can't just sort of wade back in. Don't forget Letterboxd. I do have Letterboxd. Those links will be down below. And I've seen a huge increase just of late. I'm not sure what is all that about, but it has gotten me to thinking about perhaps in putting a little bit more time into my Letterboxd account. Now, that's where you can find the entire BodyBags archive, 30,000 plus reviews over the last 11 years. My own personal list, be it BodyBags or personal list, 31 Days of Horror kind of stuff. So, there's that. But I got for Christmas my daughter. Now, a few years ago, she got me the Alien Anthology Blu-ray set. Beautiful book style set. Just beautiful if you're familiar with that. But this year, she kind of outdid herself a little bit. She found for me in a thrift store, man. It's still sealed, never been opened. I can't even believe this. And I still haven't opened it yet. The Alien Trilogy VHS original films. I think the date on here was like 96 maybe. Was that the date? I think that's what I'd seen online. I think I looked it up. But anyways, look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous. And yes, we still do VHS in this house. Now, I don't know if I'm going to open this or not. I mean, I probably should, just to watch them on VHS. I do have the original Alien on VHS. I do not have the other two, but it's just like, it's so beautiful. You just almost don't want to open it, right? And so that's a beautiful addition to my physical media collection. And so anyways, I saw that video and I laughed, because I don't know. A lot of people say, regardless, it is dead in the water. Now, I'll give this. You go into Target anymore, no physical media. Best Buy, no physical media. Probably other outlets, right? Walmart seems to be holding on. I was going to say politically, oh my Lord. Geographically, depends on where you live, I guess. Because I've heard stories on either. And I think we have a pretty decent collection in our Walmart. It's nothing to write home about. I did notice for Valentine's Day, or this part of the season, right? February coming, there is a whole end cap of, no, they do it for Halloween, and apparently they're doing it for a Valentine's Day as well. I don't usually get into those unless I happen to see something there that I just don't have and it's reasonable price. But so there's that. Amazon is your always go-to, and then your thrift stores, your buy, sell, trade outlets. For me, I got a Second and Charles and a CD Warehouse. I did pick up Christmas shopping. Picked up 2 for myself. Found Rambo First Blood Part 2, which I needed to fill out that series. And Fight Club, David Fincher's multi-disc DVD collector's edition. And isn't that the word? We hear DVD just is flying right now in popularity and just people gobbling up, and I love it. That's awesome. But also, too, VHS is seeing a sort of a renewed interest. We'll call it that for now, a renewed interest. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer just got official release coming down the pike on VHS. Romulus, the latest Alien film, had a limited exclusive to Walmart VHS. I think that was like $60 or something. I wasn't able to jump on that. So even, VHS possibly could become the new vinyl. Wouldn't that be great? And you do hear a lot of people that, predominantly stream, do not have the capability of even playing physical media anymore. That's not true in my house. I got a VCR down here. I got a VCR upstairs. Got a 4K upstairs, region free. Got a PlayStation 5 now as a result of Christmas for the littles. That's up there. Blu-ray players. There's ways of playing anything and everything, pretty much. Do not have Laserdisc, but from VHS up to 4K, we have the means and do play these formats. And I think as a result of me being born in 70, which puts me in my 50s, 4 kids, they've all, learned to appreciate physical media and the value of it. And so, when we got the PS5, thankfully PS4 games carry over to the 5, right? So we only picked up 2 games, you know how expensive those are. But we picked up the physical copy. Didn't download that crap. We picked them up. And I don't know how much longer. See, I can envision a day when games disappear completely. I cannot ever imagine a day when film just completely cannot be found on physical media. Now, let's get into that 8 minutes in. So the emphasis on this is really twofold. Sort of get comfortable getting back into doing this stuff again, but make it informative, at least subjectively from my own personal point of view, the importance of physical media and collecting physical media. And so I picked a distribution company, and I think this will be the template I sort of follow, I think. Real quick, to the point. I'll probably show you a little bit more today than I normally will, only because I only have 4 releases, and you might already guess a distribution company that I picked off my shelf, seeing that up. And I picked it for 2 reasons. Vinegar Syndrome, because I've only got 4 releases on Blu-ray. Do not have any on DVD, which is weird. I could have sworn I did, but that must be Snaps. I got a couple from Snaps on DVD. They, up till now, of recent, they haven't been in the 4K game, but now they are. The Keep, I think, is one, and I wrote them down. Phase 4, and then there's another one, and I think others coming down the pike. So finally, Vinegar Syndrome's come down with the 4K format to sell. I did take a quick little dive-in look. Vinegar Syndrome, if you didn't know, was founded in 2012. Joe Rubin, Ryan Emerson, in order to rescue, preserve an element of film I'm just not into. I'll leave it at that. Even beyond exploitation, things of a totally different, let's say, Joe D'Amato type genre, outside of his handful of horror films that he did, right? I don't even like saying it. Anyways, but that quickly evolved. Did I say 2012? Founded in 2012. Preserving and protecting genre films, cult exploitation, both horror and action. So it's kind of what Vinegar Syndrome's into, right? They've been compared to Criterion, which at some point I guess I can show too. I don't have a big collection of Criterion, but I got some good ones in terms of physical media and film preservation. So Vinegar Syndrome really has developed a reputation for preserving cult films. And the four that I'm going to show really are, I think, in every instance, are cult. And so, we see from places like Bloody Disgusting and Dread Central, quite often they're praised for both their customer service and their quality of releases, which I'll show you a little bit. And like I said, they've just recent got into the 4K game. And so Vinegar Syndrome, for me personally, it's not a distribution that I have rushed into. And, I am not a completist by any stretch. If you want to sort of pigeonhole me, I'm more quality over quantity, for the most part, by and large. Now, some of that has been guided over the last 6 years by BodyBags. A lot of times I bought films that maybe I would have never bought or been lead to buy. But because we did certain topics for certain weeks, theme weeks, our labels, films by year, a lot of films in my collection are represented by the fact that BodyBags drove me, in a good way, positive way, to grab my hands on certain films. And three of the four Vinegar Syndrome that I have were driven by the need for BodyBags. But I do appreciate the fact that I got all, and even with BodyBags, even when you're needing to fill something out for theme week and you don't know, you always still try to, well, this is my excuse to finally get my hands on this thing that I've always wanted my hands on anyway. So, but I'm sure there's some examples on my shelf that I might not have ever bought if it wasn't for BodyBags. But that's something I'm thankful for. BodyBags, put that collection together in, large part. So anyways, let's get into this real quick. First one, The Laughing Dead. I remember this movie when I was a kid, Fangoria, reading about Fangoria. The one thing that's really interesting about this movie for me is both Wayne Toth and John Buechler are both Buechler on the makeup, Toth on the special effects. Toth, of course, is I would hope still Rob Zombie's right-hand man when it comes to the practicals, Halloween and House of Thousand Corpses, I think, Devil's Rejects. People can correct me. He's done a lot, right? But Buechler, of course, special effects maestro, makeup guy, directed one of my favorite Friday the 13th entries in terms of comfort food favorite. Friday 7, man, was Buechler's entry. For nothing else, that's the one where he faces off with the psychic, right? You gotta love the look of Jason. Buechler just really just did an awesome job on that. But The Laughing Dead, I believe it's a Mexican film, and I needed it for something for BodyBags. And but I knew of it through my memory recollections of Fangoria, and so it was definitely worth picking up, and it was definitely a fun revisit. The other one, definitely favorite, and I should actually too, just so you kind of get an idea. There's the inside, and a lot of times, you get your reversible cover art. I got the one outside that I like. That's the one that reminds me of the original artwork, mostly. The other cult item that I needed for BodyBags was Luther the Geek. This is a crazy cult film, man. Directed by Carlton Albright of The Children, Luther the Geek is a bloody and bleak rural slasher featuring gruesome gore courtesy of William Purcell, Exorcist 3, and Tristino, Evil Dead 2. What Fangoria called the most riveting splatter film since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know about that, but look at this, man. Just give you an idea. There's some of the interior cover art, reverse. Not sure what's over here. I think just the on the flip side, just a little bit different. But there's this one standout scene, man, where Luther is, of course, this is the geek, right? Biting heads off chickens, whatnot. He's down by the barn, and he's made eye contact with the doorway, and our protagonist is inside the doorway, sees Luther, and he starts to run, and it's this slow run up to the door. It's crazy. It's a crazy moment in the film. One that works beautifully, I think. But this is another one. Fangoria, I remember as a kid, and so I can't remember what the theme was, or maybe it was a year, maybe it was a label. This one might have actually been the one I needed for Vinegar Syndrome. I finally got a hold of it, and this was an absolute fun revisit. The other one, boy, big memories from as a kid. When I started collecting again, this is one that was always way back on the back burner, and thought about it once in a while here and there, but just never was in a position or ever saw a good release of it enough to warrant picking up. But BodyBags, we needed, I think we were doing Slasher Week or something, maybe. Could be. This is when it was. Glenn, our Monday reviewer, past Monday reviewer for BodyBags, also lead host on the Graveyard Ship podcast, which we just had Black Christmas drop. That link is actually in the community section on my YouTube channel, if you want to check out that podcast. And we got another one coming down the pike too here soon on the 17th, I think. Anyways, Glenn has always said, some films just don't deserve the release that they get. This is a perfect example. Splatter University or Splatter U. This I remember as a kid. They handed out barf bags and all that in the movie theater. And this again, another back burner, right? Look at this. Tell me this deserve this kind of treatment. This is Vinegar Syndrome at its best, I think, or at least close to its best. You get your little Vinegar Syndrome Media Club card, of course, a nice little sticker, and then 2-disc release, again, alternative artwork. That's the classic, though. That's what you remember in the 80s when this first came out. This was an interesting revisit. I probably hadn't seen this movie since he first found it on VHS, maybe. I don't recollect seeing it in theater. I think I was still too young. This was released in, I can see the date here real quick, 84, so I was 14. So I remember the advertising campaign real well. That is the same year I saw The Terminator in the theater as a 14-year-old, Nightmare on Elm Street that year. And I was really aware of the campaign for this film. And for whatever reason, I probably, being a 14-year-old, couldn't find the right person to go with me, and which is too bad, because I could have got my hands on one of those barf bags. Upon revisiting the film much later in age, I find that pretty funny that they actually handed out. But you got to have a gag, right? You got to have a gag to market, get people in. So the last one I want to talk about real quick is Zombie 5: Killing Birds. I do have this on DVD, Shriek Show, which, again, thank my daughter, because she was the one who got it for me, and that finished off the official zombie franchise. If you begin with Dawn of the Dead, which was marketed as Zombie over there in Europe, up to this film, right, is the sort of unofficial zombie franchise. But there's one reason why this was on the back burner of really wanting to get my hands on. I had heard a lot about a certain commentary track by Sam, S-A-M-M, Dagan, I think is how you say her name. You find her on, oh geez, I want to say she's on, well, the Cauldron release of City of the Living Dead, Fulci's film. She's somewhere else too, a Margheriti film. Cannibal Apocalypse, maybe? That could be it. But she has a commentary track on this one as well. Now she has her own podcast too. But I heard that in particular her and I should open this too. I probably remember this on the VHS as Raptors more than anything. Back in the VHS days. But Sam she really does a good job of getting into the history of Italian cinema, really as it relates to Joe D'Amato, his Filmraj independent film company that was mainly pushed to bring new filmmakers into the fold, such as, say, Michele Soavi, who did Stage Right, was his directorial debut for that label, under Joe D'Amato, who gave him that assignment. Up to then, he was assistant director, AD, mainly for Dario Argento, if you know anything about Michele. Stage Right is my favorite slasher of all time. But anyways, so I'd heard a lot about that commentary, specifically on how she touched on Filmraj, Joe D'Amato, the Italian film scene as it was. And so over Christmas, I got a chance to go ahead and throw this on a order pile, and I have to say, the commentary track alone was worth the money I spent on this. That was just as an informative sort of reference, man, to go back to occasionally. She definitely is well informed. And there was another thing I saw in here too. I think it was God, what was it? Dun 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 dun. I think it was, oh man, Birds of a Feather, a video interview with the sound man Larry Revine. That was pretty good. Also, Talents, the interview with Claudia Lattanzi, the director. Well, it's an interesting discussion all by itself about Joe D'Amato, being cinematographer, but maybe perhaps more director than Lattanzi was. Lattanzi was sort of fresh on the scene, new on the scene. It's an interesting conversation. It's not any different than what we've heard with Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg, or Christian Nyby and Howard Hawks, The Thing from Another World, 1951. There are plenty of who really directed the film conversations, and this is another one. But I think more or less it's Lattanzi's film. I think Joe D'Amato, I don't know. I mean, you got people's opinions, right? So anyways, Zombie 5, I absolutely love the artwork on this. And the backside. So, Vinegar Syndrome. I was really surprised I didn't have any DVD releases of Vinegar Syndrome. But, just kind of looking at them, you got to appreciate and the effort of these companies to, as Glenn would say, give a release, the type of release you just don't expect them to give. It's pretty amazing stuff. So, so a little bit about, my absence, where that's at, and maybe, and I guess we'll just see. I just want to do some fun things initially, just do some not really random, but not so random things, and really sort of harp on physical media and the need for it. Look, bottom line is, and I'll kind of close out here, bottom line is, when it comes to physical, it's just like those the Video Nasties set that I got up there. That whole era of censorship, films being banned, and people being prosecuted in the UK for owning, distributing certain films on the, video nasties list. Bottom line is, man, one of the things that pushed that was they didn't like the idea with the advent of VCRs in people's homes. They didn't like the idea that people had a controller and could pause and rewind and see a certain scene over and over and over. Generally speaking, you go to a movie theater, you see a scene pass by once, and that's it. You never see it again unless you go back for a repeat viewing, right? But how many people do that, right? Maybe more so in the past than today, but and so that, but that, see, there's the power. The power is the controller's in your hand, and you have the power of a film that, by and large, especially today, ought not to be censored. But you can't say the same for streaming companies. You can't say the same for Disney or any other one of these companies, because as culture changes, society changes, film ought not to change with it, in the sense of people ought not to be going back and taking pre-existing films and censoring them to somehow make them more approachable by the current cultural norm. That's just ludicrous. That's insane. As far as I'm concerned, that's insane. And a Cannibal Holocaust is a great topic for that, right? A lot of debate on whether Grindhouse should have released the the non-animal abuse cut of the film. In terms of the merit of the original film, in its original release format, right? I'm just as an illustration of things change, or right. Anyway, so yeah. Physical media, I think it's still alive and well. Golly, if you got Dawn of the Discs Facebook group, if you're logged into that, you get notifications almost daily of things coming down the pike, 4K releases, Blu-ray releases, and all the variety of distribution companies that are at play right now, both abroad, here domestically in the U.S. It's just everywhere. So anyways, first video back after a long delay. My apologies. You can tell me in the comment section it's okay. Appreciate you being back, or you can tell me to buzz off and don't bother. Whatever. Anyways, Bulldogs early out. My prayers to the Coach Smart's family, though. He just lost his dad, and so that is a little more important than game he lost. My Bills, though, locked into the second seat, ready to go into the playoffs. Last I heard, they were losing today to the Patriots, but I mean, they're already locked in, so big deal, right? Anyways, so last little glimpse. This is what I'm going to do for a little bit, and maybe I'll take some time and try to figure out where I was with the X-Files and see if I can get back into that mess. As always, go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. We might be useful to you.